Oh, g'day guys. Just decided, bit of a spur of the moment decision to just do a quick preview for the Lonnie Cup card. We've got 10 races, so I'll try and sort of make it short, apart from the ones that I'll point out. So, might also be a little disjointed. As I said, it was a little bit of a late decision, so I'm probably not as prepared as I should be. But anyway, rails out 3, tracks a soft 5 at the moment, meant to be good weather for Cup Day itself. It's about 4:30 on Tuesday currently. So I'll jump straight into it. Must admit, anybody who follows my selections generally knows I'm usually pretty keen on the maidens Class 1 side of things as opposed to the higher classes. Just find you can generally put a line through half the field before you start. But first 3 or 4 races found extremely tough, but I'll just, for the sake of tipping a couple, just from the draw, I reckon Coal Hill probably in the first. The second, over the 2100, New Overleche strikes, pretty moderate maiden Class 1 here, big drop back in grade. I think it's probably Fearless Faloo. Been consistent in these type of races in the past, despite stepping up in trip. Probably those two, but the third, actually, it's Class 1, and obviously you've got Winky Dink, whose first 2 runs have been well documented. But if we just think about it, like, it's not the generic maiden taking on a Class 1, even though factually it is, because there's no doubt she was probably going to win by 2.5, 3 lengths last time, and if she won that race by 2.5, 3 lengths, she'd definitely be a leading hope in this. So actually we might just have a quick look at that replay. So here she is here, like I said, 7th beaten 6.4 lengths. She drew barrier 1 on this occasion. She'll probably go back because she's drawn wide this time, so you can see she jumped in front and grabs hold. Oops. So you can see she's just fair bolting behind the leader here. Now, the only horse travelling, she got out. There's no doubt she's going to go bang, but she almost meant bang for another reason. But yeah, so happy to have her on top in the third, despite it's a bit of a tricky draw. So, but forced to pick one, go with her. Fourth, another very tricky race over the 1400. I am punting, if it's a sunny day, rail out 3, general course of events is on speed. Track does tend to bake a little bit, so and I really struggle with a few speed maps early on as well. So just if you want a Princess of York, she's no star, but draws well. She's probably going to be first to the fence. It's going to be in the right place. You just want to have a small each way bet. Probably the first one I'm pretty keen on the card is in race 5, in the form of GG Trendsetter. In an ideal world, you'd probably want a bit more rain about, and 1100 metres is probably her ideal distance. She's just a model of consistency. As you can see, she hasn't won for a long time. That's a bit of an issue, but the one thing here is that there's not a ton of speed drawn inside her. She should be able to work across and find the inside. Like if you just look at speed map here, Cranbrook might come across with her, but definitely hasn't got the speed to cross her. Cole's Hero will probably race in the first 4 or 5, drawn 1. Denzayo's drawn the car park. And you're probably looking at Silver Road's probably the only other, and Millmount. They're probably the only other 2 with any early speed, so I expect her to lead quite easily. Last start she led and got beaten by I Remember You, who I expect to probably start 3rd or 4th favourite in the Vamos Stakes against the best mares in the state at level weights. She got the 3 kilo claim. Alex has ridden her 3 times for 3 seconds. Yeah, so actually might just have a look at her replay of her last run. Right, so the last run was in Hobart on, I think it was Cup Day. You can see I Remember You. You can see obviously her racing pattern, like she's led it. You know, first 2 or 3 in virtually every start, so draws with little speed insides. Not too much of an issue at all. She drew a similar gate here actually. We'll just watch the start and you can see she's punching through the middle here. To lead is I Remember You. And you can just see she's here on the outside. There's obviously big gap to the rest of them. If you take the winner out, who have already sort of said there's some sort of chance in the bigger race on the day, she's beaten the rest by about 4 lengths. So happy to be on. I must admit she sucked me in a few times. Actually just looked out the window and it started raining. I just said it was going to be fine about 5 minutes ago. It didn't stop the rain, but that's actually, any rain about's actually good for her anyway. I am virtually leader of the Cole's Hero fan club as well, so, and he's maps to get a very good run as well from barrier 1, so scared to death a bit of him, but I think one of those 2 should get the chocolates there. In the 6, which is the Mowbray Stakes, always think of it as the George Adams Plate, I must admit. Let's just think about that now. The name got changed from memory when in Tassie we signed an agreement with Luxbet, and obviously, for those that don't know, George Adams was the founder of Tattersalls, so obviously Luxbet had a tab connection and Tattersalls were the adversary at the time, so the name got changed. Just think it might be a good idea to bring the name back now that those 2 are obviously in cahoots. So, and actually just further to that, just sort of one thing, I was at the pub on the weekend, you know, like one of my mates asked me, who's like a offsider on the racing, you know, like periphery of the racing industry, just sort of has a passing interest, asked me what the biggest race in Tasmania was, and I couldn't actually tell him. You know, I think we need to make a weight for age race our standout, have a standout weight for age race in Tasmania, whether that be the Thomas Lyons or revert back to the George Adams over the mile here. But anyway, but more to the racing side of it. Hell of a Street. He's obviously in his younger days he was a 1200, 1400 horse, but his record in latter years over 14, 1600 has been exceptional. He dead set walked in this race last year. He was going to win by 10 lengths until Jason grabbed hold and gave him a pat about the 100 metre mark. Actually, we'll speak of Jason Maskew. If you look at his record when Jason's ridden him, it's exceptional. It's actually pretty good when anybody's ridden him, but seems to have a very good bond with Jason. Does actually tend to travel a bit better. Chamois Road will probably settle a bit closer to him this time, but even if you're close to him, it's one thing getting past the little bugger as well. So, yeah, no, be gobsmacked if he got beaten, if truth be told. Must admit, I'm surprised the price hasn't gone yet. Still $1.55. I expect him to start closer to $1.30 come the jump. Actually, might go have a look at the replay of his run last year. So we're obviously all familiar with the Brighton colours. So yep. Actually, you can always tell Launceston Cup Day, it's the last Wednesday in February every year. So that would be it there.
Might have just taken the...
You can see that little fella diving through the middle, Count Da Vinci inside him, and I think it's one of the GGs obviously, but so you just see just controlling the race over the mile. You know, like the mile, just watch this, the mile's no issue whatsoever. Yeah, that's what I said, he was going to win by 10. You're going further away. Well, he's grabbed hold there, and you got Zatakla and a couple of others who he's meeting here. Yeah, no, he just wins for mine. If you don't mind the tomato sauce, think you do far worse than. There's seen a lot worse $1.55 pops in Hell of a Street, and you know what you're going to get. He's going to make his luck on speed. So if there's fence bias, outside rail bias, he gets his chance to be first one there, whichever way the track's playing. So very happy to have him on top, but not giving too much away clearly with the price. The seventh is named after a former top liner in Royal Rambo. I think there's a couple of standouts here. For mine, Lord Da Vinci, like he's drawn well, and at weights he's not too badly off considering, like I think in this race last year, Blaze Fourth would have been giving him 4 or 5 kilos, so near they are virtually same weights. But jury's out with him for mine. Just haven't liked the way he's finished off his past couple, albeit in tougher grade. So the two I'm settling on are Blaze Fourth and old favourite in Liffey Bow. Just think down on the minimum. Liffey Bow, barrier 3. He'll race handy. So, got Liffey Bow on top and Blaze Fourth. I just think one of the two will win. The Cup itself is race 8. We've got a field of 10. We've probably got 3 who sort of can't win, but the other 7 have all got legitimate claims. Obviously, Etymology comes up with barrier 1, and the 2 logical leaders in the race drawn in Fabrizio and Apmat drawn barriers 2 and 3. He's just guaranteed to get a gun run. Very difficult to tip against. Does meet Etymology. I think it's 2.5 kilos difference from, so 59.5. Oh no, so the wrong race. So he carried 59, and Etymology 55.5. There's 3.5 between them there, and there's a kilo here, so 2.5 difference. But when you watch that, like Fabrizio's just very one-paced. Might even go and have a look at it actually. Let's just click Fabrizio. So it was the Warwick Farm run, and gives us an idea of, obviously it's carrying the Godolphin Blue, so here's Fabrizio and Etymology, the widest 2 horses, and they say they both race handy. And so if we just watch it from here, you can see, look, Etymology looks, not Etymology, Fabrizio looks like he's going to run last here and just digs in and whacks away at the same speed. Etymology, 3 deep. Enjoyed a good run here throughout. Strong late. He's walked in over 2,800 at Flemington prior to this. I'm tipping the obvious, favourite, barrier 1, but even though there's a 2.5 weight turnaround, it's impossible to see Fabrizio turning the tables there, but still going to run pretty well. We might just have a look at the Hobart Cup itself, which is obviously the major lead-up race to the Launceston Cup every year. So we've got Apmat here, obviously East Ender out the back, and Lamborghini sort of settling, what's that, about 6th, 1 off the fence there. So you can see that obviously Apmat's posied up, so you imagine him and Fabrizio definitely take up the running here. So from here, it's the one thing that people, obviously East Ender was very well ridden to save ground, but he also got very few favours when the favourite went amiss. You can see he's stuck behind White Hawk and the favourite here. So he lost about 3 lengths there, so any ground he saved by cutting the corner, you can see he's stuck behind them there. So he's, normally would have been right on the hammer of Lamborghini, but he's 3 lengths behind. So obviously he's, as I mentioned, saved ground here, but it's a fair argument he actually lost more ground being stuck behind those other horses than he saved on the turn anyway. So may have appeared a tad flattering because of the ride, The one thing I like here, obviously, Lamborghini's hit the line well, but I like the way Matt actually sticks to his guns here as well. You know, he probably lacks the ability of a couple of others as far as pure speed's concerned and class, but he's down on the minimum and stays all day, and that's never a bad, and races on speed, so never a bad recipe in these distance handicap races. So forced to select in the cup, we'll go Etymology on top. I do think Apmat will run a race from the draw. East Ender again, and just from a speed map perspective, I'll throw Second Bullet in, because when you look at that speed map, you've got barriers 2 and 3 to lead, Etymology box seats, and Second Bullet probably lobs 1-1, so going to get every chance. So that'll probably do me in the cup. In the 9th, which is the Vamos Stakes for the mares at set weights, nearly all of these met in Hobart in the Bow Mistress over 1200, and the step out to 1400 here. Obviously, Life on the Wire, she came back. Couple of so-so looking trials. Then was heavily supported in the Bow Mistress and sat wide throughout and was pretty dominant late, if truth be told. Hard to see anything else turning the tables, as she's probably, you know, a little bit better served at the 1400 if anything. You know, there's not a ton of speed here either. You've got My Biddy, GG Lynette, probably the only other two that'll press forward. I Remember You will sort of race in the first 3 or 4. So you can see her outside the leader controlling the race. I'm scared to death a bit of I Remember You. It's the one thing, the one horse with X Factor you can't line up. Twitchy Frank stuck to her guns pretty well in Hobart, and Speed and Over, I've actually backed her at $51 in the Bow Mistress and hit the line well for second, but I just can't see it turning the tables on Life on the Wire. If we just look at the actually cup market here, actually Etymology, I think they're about 280. See, when I first looked at these markets, I thought about, you know, $1.35 Elva Street, about $2.25 Etymology, and about 280 Life on the Wire as well. I thought about even money her. So, and I Remember You, sort of 650. I think if you can back both of them and get a result there. And the last, my lord, it's just one of those races which whichever horse lobs in the right spot. Forced to pick one, I'd probably go a couple of run-on horses like Pelagia or Mercia Bella, because they'll probably, last race of the day, they'll probably sort of put the speed, you know, big field, should be able to run home by late in the day, you'd imagine. So yeah, so maybe if you're forced to have a bet, a couple of little bets, Mercia Bella and Pelagia. So I said, with the 10 races, I'm probably taking a bit of time, so I'll try and wrap it up quickly. So best bet, race 5, number 2, GG Trendsetter. The best at odds, I'd be surprised if Apmat doesn't run very well in the cup itself. And what price is he currently? I think he's about $14. Yeah, so about $14 if you just have like a 1x2, 1x3 bet on Apmat in the cup. So, I said, and I do like the favourites in the middle pins in the feature races as well. So, so anyway, guys, I will wrap it up there. Apologise, I said it was a bit disjointed with virtually nothing prepared. So, hopefully somebody gets something out of it. So, not sure when I'll pop the next one up, but until then, we will leave you with it and chat to you later. Cheers.